We have 13 weeks of pure excitement, pure learning, pure sharing, doing business together, bonding.
Idea extraction is your bedrock to building a profitable business.
Your business has a value, you have worth, and you need to be able to set your price. No matter how great the product is, it has to be marketed. If you have the cure for cancer tomorrow and you don't market it, no lives will be saved. Think about the challenges that we have and why your product or service is going to fill that.
You are the brand. We have to find our own unique value proposition.
At the end of the day, business is about money. And the big question you're always going to get, who is going to pay for this and how much money is it going to actually produce?
The only thing that you need to do is not give up.
This is going to be an exciting ride, ladies.
I could do a session for a week long, but I wanted to point out just two things as we step into the marketing. This session is called Why Viagra Sells, and I'll tell you that when we created the program, I had a tagline, a main header, and a tagline. And when we market, we always have to be on, always on. So when you're putting out your product, your service, how do you engage your audience? And I'll tell you this: when we sent out this deck to sponsors and they looked at the sessions each week, you know what they were most impressed and what resonated with them? Why Viagra Sells. It's the hook. It's the hook. And you'll hear the two speakers today talking about different things. But one of the things that I found in marketing that has been a success, not just for work that we do at the agency, but with our clients, it's having that hook. We are in a very competitive marketplace, very, very competitive. There's a lot of services, there's a lot of products, there's a lot of alternatives that our competitors will have. But how do we differentiate ourselves? How do we stand out? And it is those little pieces that helps us to make a big point of difference. They say your brand is what you are what they say about you when you're not in the room. So as you think about your product and services, what do they say about you when you're not in the room? I get a lot of phone calls from different people. And when they talk about the Nadine Spencer brand or the Brandy Hugh brand or even the BBK brand, there's a certain level of excellence. There's a standard, there's an elevated standard. There's a way that we are with our clientele. And so, our brand isn't necessarily just the logo. It's not just the website. It's not just that. It's the marketing materials. It's how you answer the phone in your business. It's all of those little details that makes your product and service a success. And when you talk about marketing, it's not just one thing. It's a holistic approach. And it's a branded approach, from my perspective. And, I lean first when I think about marketing from the personal perspective and the personal brand, because again, when you walk into a space, there's an expectation. So a lot of people, they build their brand, they build a website, they do all these things. You know what they forget? They forget about themselves. They forget that you're the business owner. Before someone buys Gisella's real estate, they have to buy her. They're going to see her. They have to believe in her. So when I look across the screen, I see Patricia Mawa's photo. Again, what do you expect a female leader, media mogul's photo to look like? It has to look like that. There's an expectation for who we are in our industry, for what we have to represent all the time for our brand. We have to show up like that. We have to have those pieces of marketing collaterals that looks like that. What I'm going to show you in about 10 minutes, and maybe another session, Uju, I can do a whole full plan on what it takes. I'm going to just share with you some examples, because I love examples, because sometimes you go through a process and you don't understand necessarily what you need to do in that process. So I'm going to share with you a few examples that I've used, and hopefully I'm going to get this right in terms of the screen sharing in our agency, in work that we've done with our clients. So tell me what you see now. You probably see the Stevie Wonder video, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So number one, I want to show you one proposal we've done with a client. It's on their personal brand. And so we started with what the brand looks like at the beginning. That's who he is, prominent top lawyer. And then as we scroll through, we see what his brand looks like. He's using the strong blue. And then he wanted to have a personal brand makeover. He wanted something that represents his organization and himself in a very uniquely strong way. And one of the things we have to do in our Black community is that when we show up, there's a way to show up. And we want to show up in that very professional, very represented way at all times. So then we sort of look at individuals that, you know, the one thing about the internet is success leaves clues. So if you want to style yourself, you don't necessarily have to go to a stylist. You just imagine, who would play me in a movie? Who do I aspire to be like? If you look at Michelle Obama, like they've paid a lot of money to stylists to make sure that their brand is on point. You don't have to pay a lot of money to stylists. You can just look and you can learn and you can pick up one or two pieces. So if we go through this, you know, these are all, you know, well-accomplished actors and so forth. They're styled really well. When we talk about the details in marketing and branding, if you look here at just his pocket square, just the detailing there, these are just, you know, things that we take for granted that we don't pay attention to, but branding is really all about the details. And if we look at the expression, so we look at the expression for how they photograph, you know, leading people, and then we look at the expression, very great, but it's just the lighting, it's the texture, it's all of those things that we want to convey, because what we want to convey is an emotional connection to our audience, right? Okay, and so we sort of then go through a process of looking at individuals that, you know, that what does a brand represent? So strong, professional, detailed, you know, current images. And then we go through all of that. And then we do sort of a whole search online. So if you search, when we search the client, there it was, you know, all of these individuals, you know, he's a lawyer, but he's not represented, because again, it's about that Google optimization that was missing. And then we go through, you know, all of that. We see the website, we look at all of those things. So when we finally, and I'm going to show you just very quickly what, I'll show you the reveal in a moment. So that's one of the gentlemen. And then in terms of a female, again, we had a top consultant, top of her game, working with leading power women across the world. And she, again, wanted her makeover. So we thought about, what is it that we want to convey with your brand? What do we want your image to look like? Because you're the first thing they see before they see your website and all those things. They have to connect with you first. And what is the brand presence that we want to impart? So again, we went through the same close shots, stylized shots, and things like that in terms of where we want to take the brand. And then we brought her. And so these are things you think about as you're building your brand. You have your full images, but also you have your face, the tight shots. You saw Patricia's photo there. It's a tight shot. So what does that look like? What's the story you want to tell through all of that? So this is Mitzi Hunter. You know her. We've done her brand makeover. And again, this is a client. And then these were some of the styles that we thought about. And so once we took that into final, I'll show you what that looks like. We actually use them on our website. So here's Stephen. You know, this image is so very strong, very powerful. We went down to Bay Street. We took it, all of those details are covered. But more than the details were the details in his persona and in his appearance. And then this is one of my favorite photos of the client. There's a platform where you can go and you can test your image. You can test your image to see a random set of people will look at your image and they will point out, they'll rate you. This is the highest rated photos we've ever had as a professional. It rated 98%, 98%. And here's what's interesting and unique about marketing in the Black space. When you get photography, someone can take your photo, and what you want them to see is you as a professional, accomplished individual in representing your brand or your product or service. But a lot of the times when we talk about biases, sometimes even in photography, there's biases that comes across. So when we took her photo, the first photo we took, they weren't powerful, they weren't strong. And I said to the photographer, you didn't take her photo as a strong consultant. You took it you saw a Black woman and all of the biases and all of those things that comes through your lens as you thought of her as a Black woman. You didn't take a finished product that resonates strength. So we moved to another photographer, and that was the image that they delivered. Because again, you know, you want your brand to represent, you know, it should transcend everything. It should transcend gender, sexuality, all of those things. We want powerful, strong images. And of course, you know, we're Black, but we want images to look like this. And many times I've seen it in many spaces where a photographer takes a photo and it's really not representative of you as a strong Black woman. And so you want to make sure that that your image is represents really well, because you are the brand. And this was another image we had of the client. Again, this could be Michelle Obama. This could be any person that's just powerful, accomplished, and very strong. And so when we say that your brand starts with you, it does start with you. It does start with you. And we have to collectively, invest in our brand, invest in our styling, all of those things, because that's what forms your marketing. I do have something else, but I'll leave that for another time. But when we talk about why Viagra sells, everybody knows Viagra. Everybody knows what that little blue pill is. Whether you use it or not, we all know what it is. But despite the fact that they're a global international brand that makes a lot of money, they still invest in their marketing. And do you know why? Market share. No matter how awesome you are as a product, as a service, they're still your competitors, and you still have to invest, whether it's in a small way, it's in a grassroots way, in a structured way, or in a big, bold way. You still have to stay in people's top of people's faces, and you have to invest in your marketing. There's different ways to do it, and our two speakers today will be guiding you through and talking about their experiences in different sectors of the marketing world. So looking forward to tonight's discussion, and any questions, please put them in the chat, and I'll turn it back over to Uju now, who will introduce our speaker.
Thank you for that wonderful intro and expose into the necessities of marketing. We're going to see we're going to invite our next speaker now, Patricia, but I have a very exciting video to play. Okay.
Patricia Bibi Amawa has served as president of Planet Africa Group, the executive vice president of Afro Global Television and Silver Trust Media, the largest Black-owned media organization in Canada. She is also the host of the Planet Africa show on Omni TV. She has directed and produced over 15 television programs, including the Omabella drama series and Standing Ovation. Patricia is the associate publisher of Excellence, Envision, and Destiny magazines. In 2008, Silver Trust Media introduced the Discover magazine series, which has since released over 20 titles and editions in various countries. Listed in the Who's Who in Black Canada, she is a recipient of the York Regional Police Civic Leadership Award, the Martin Luther King Dreamkeeper Award, and a Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal. The mother of four is the co-founder of the Crossover Mentorship Program, a youth empowerment initiative. Patricia was spotlighted as Woman of the Week in Women's Post and also featured on CNN International in a half-hour special with her husband Moses. In March 2016, the duo launched Afro Global Television, a 24-hour television channel that is on Rogers Cable, Bell 5, Eastlink, and TELUS across Canada. In 2018, Patricia and Moses co-authored the 150 Extraordinary Canadians Legacy book with a foreword by the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau.
That is such a wonderful intro. It's such a perfect job in introducing our amazing speaker today, Patricia. So the floor is yours, Patricia. Welcome to the Boss Women stage.
Thank you so much, Uju. Thank you everyone for joining us. By the way, that video needs a little update because since the time the video was made, I became a Harry Drum Award recipient,
Yes.
Right. Thank you, BBPA. Now, I'd like to first of all acknowledge two boss ladies, Nadine Spencer, who is a marketing guru, as well as, Frances Delso, the president of the executive director of the BBPA. I respect these two women so much. I've known them for so many years. Thank you for having me again. It's really exciting to be here with all the amazing ladies that have joined us. Marketing is one of my little soft spots because it was one of my majors when I was doing my university degree. And when I was working at the TV channel, my first job, one of my duties was to help people, to produce their ads, to write the scripts and all that. So I've been in the advertising space for a while, and marketing, for a business person comes naturally. Even if you don't know what marketing is, you kind of, figure it out when you start a business. Now, before we get started, I'd just like to know a little bit about, folks joining us for this session. So if you are a business person, I want you to just type in the chat how long you've been in business. If you've been in business for 1 to 3 years, just type 1. If you've been in business for 3 years and up, just say 3. I just want to kind of know, where you are at in your business, if you're just starting, or how many people have kind of gone far. Just put on my glasses and take a look. So just type really fast. Let's just see who we have here. Okay. Wow. Okay. Right. Awesome. So from what I see, a lot of the people joining us today have been in business for a long time. So you've already actually been marketing your business. You've figured out a way. I think we have someone speaking there. If you could just mute yourself, that would really be awesome. So most of the people have already figured out what to do to promote their businesses. But I'm just going to be sharing some ideas that I've learned as an entrepreneur, and also some of the best practices that a lot of people are adopting right now. And of course, the other part of this conversation is how to leverage traditional media. As you know, we run a 24-hour TV channel, and I've also worked with a few other channels. So I'll be sharing ideas on how to leverage traditional media. But these days, traditional media is great, but there are many other mediums, especially virtual, online sort of mediums that are very effective in promoting your business. I do have a PowerPoint, even though I prefer to speak from the heart, but I thought, I put together my thoughts in a PowerPoint so I can stay focused. So let me just share my screen here. Okay, so our topic is marketing your business. And I know Nadine talked about why Viagra sells. When I saw that, I kind of was like, wow, this is great. I mean, it just gets to you. And that's what marketing is about. It's just thinking outside the box. It's just, finding out ways that it's like standing in front of there's this, in Africa, we have what we call the market square. The market square is like it's something that everyone should experience. I mean, if you ever go to Africa, look for a traditional local market. So you have people everywhere. There's no organization, like folks all over the place selling different things. So what these people do in the market is that they try to get people's attention. So let's say you come to this place and everyone there is selling bread, right? Some people will have like a musician in front of their stall, drumming to attract people. Some people will have somebody dressed like a masquerade. Like they just have all kinds of ideas. They're screaming, shouting, singing, dancing, just trying to get the customer's attention. So imagine yourself as in an African market square where there's noise everywhere. There are people selling the same thing. There are people selling other things. How can you shout? How can you make the loudest noise? And, to make the loudest noise, you don't have to shout too loud. You just have to be creative. Like the person who actually has a drummer in front of their stall. Some people have someone with, ice cream because it's sunny and hot in Africa for the most part. So they have somebody with ice cream or cold water waiting. So you just have to think of how can I get the attention of this people coming to this very noisy market. Steve Jobs said that marketing is about values. It's about actually getting their attention in a noisy world. And that's, I'm going to share some ideas that I have learned from being in business for now over 20 years. Now, This here says genius is not enough. And the sign on the side that says the best horse doesn't always win the race. I mean, think about it. Some of the products that we've come to love and consume may not really be the best in the market. Some of the artists that we have revered, over the years, they're not the best. They may be some, talented person somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but the thing is, how are they marketing themselves, right? So genius is not enough. So that means you have to do something else to get you ahead. So now, the key elements of marketing. The first one is goals. What are your goals? I mean, if you just want to, you're not just marketing for marketing's sake, right? What are your goals? You have to have, some sort of an agenda for your marketing. Number two, who is your audience? And then brand. I know this is where Nadine is an expert. Branding, like she showed us some, brands there that her company is building. What do you want your brand to be known for? And then the last one that is strategy. Now I'm going to go into some of them in more detail, but I will just keep over some, very quickly. Now, your marketing goals. In marketing your goals, what in marketing your brand or your company, sometimes marketing yourself, what are your goals? Is it just for brand awareness? Are you just marketing just so that people can know about you? Or are you, doing the marketing so that you can connect with your customers? Or is it to produce sales leads, to sell? Is it to keep the momentum up? So you already have enough clients, like Coca-Cola already has enough clients. Now they're just kind of keeping up the momentum. Or are you promoting something new? So you have to know what exactly your marketing goal is. Next is audience. Who are they? Where do they live? What do they like? Who do they like? What are their ages? How old are they? And why should they patronize you? And how can you reach them? How can you reach them is the most important thing in this whole section. Once you know who they are, where they live, their ages, then how can you, customize your marketing strategy to reach them? And then branding. And branding is a whole different thing, which I'm not going to go too much into because it's a whole broad, one day topic that we have to kind of deal with another day. And in dealing with branding, you have to think about a few things. What is your brand identity? What is the identity of your brand? And how are you going to position your brand in the market? What is your brand guarantee? What is the promise that your brand, gives to everyone that comes in contact with it? What is your brand distinction? What distinguishes you, from other brands that are similar? What makes it different? What makes you unique? And what is your brand story? Sometimes customers may not connect with everything else, but they will connect with your brand story. And that's why it's very important to establish what that is. Now, here are some of my favorite iconic brands that we all, have come to know and love. If you see, you don't even need to to type out their names. Like the first one that you can tell is Nike. Once you see that, it's Nike. And the next one to it is Target. And then we all know McDonald's, Shell, Starbucks. And my favorite brand when it comes to marketing is Apple. Now, marketing strategies. What are some of the strategies that you can adopt to make sure that you are able, in this very noisy market, in this very busy market with so many people, trying to get the attention of the same people you're trying to reach? How can you, make them focus on your brand? Number one, in this world that we're in today, the way we market our products or ourselves, or whatever we want to market, has changed, because we have a few things that have happened in the last few years, which I'm sure some people are still trying to figure out. But in this world that we're in today, content is king. Whether you're trying to market yourself or market a product or a service, it doesn't matter. Nadine actually did speak about photography earlier on and content. That's one of the things, and I'll go in depth into some of this, strategies. But let's just move on. The next one is social media, and then there's smart PR, there's strategic showcase, there's referral network, SEO, engaging an audience, leveraging influencers, innovating, and then evaluation. Let's now look at each one of these items here. Now, content. We've heard that content is king. It's either you create or you disappear. Let me say that again. In this world that we're in today, it's either you create or you disappear. You have to create content. Let's start with the first content that you create, for your brand. Now, the thing, see, one of the fastest way that people connect with your brand is what they see, what they see. And in creating content, there are a few things you have to keep in mind. Number one, what is the goal of the content you're creating? And then, what is the brand you're trying to showcase? How do you optimize it? And then you have to, be mindful of the analytics and have a content strategy. Now, in your goal, you have to identify your goal, establish your audience, set expected results. What is the resulting, behavior that you're expecting from the people you're trying to market to? And then you have to position your brand in a way that is authentic. I think I don't know how to go back. But how do you position your brand in a way that is authentic? And how do you sort of create content that will speak the language of the people you're trying to reach? How can they connect with that content? If you're creating content that is great, but it's not speaking the language of the people you're trying to reach, it just doesn't make any much sense to them. Now, the next thing is social media marketing. Social media has become one of the biggest ways to market certain products. And it's one of the biggest ways to market whatever you're thinking of marketing. Number one, if you're planning to use social media as a marketing tool, you should. In fact, I personally, if not for the fact that social media is a great marketing tool, I would have loved not to be on social media because it took me so many. In fact, my first selfie, I think, was about a couple of years ago. It took me so many years to even take a selfie because I thought, what? That's just so self, promoting. And I'm kind of like, I prefer to promote other people. I'm used to showcasing people. It wasn't my thing. But when I got to realize that social media has become one of the most powerful ways to promote not just your product, but to promote, sort of ideas or even thoughts and things that are important to you. I thought, what, I'm going to catch on, and I did. So in using social media, you have to engage to be able to get followers, and you have to reward loyal followers. And there are many ways to reward your loyal followers. You have to run draws and competitions, make followers feel involved, connect with them in a way that is more personal. I know sometimes when you post something that is general, people comment on it, but when people see that you see them, you will see that the engagement will be more, and it will actually help them to come to your social media page more often because they're kind of connecting with you on a more personal level. Be authentic in your message on social media. Be very authentic because people have so many other things out there they're looking at, but they're looking for authenticity. And make sure that your posts are engaging. Give it a little bit more thought. If you're just posting a beautiful picture, that's great, but have a message to go with it that will captivate. Like you saw the ad for this event, why Viagra sells. Okay, they could have just said, how to market your business, but when you see Viagra, you're kind of taken aback. You're like, what? And that makes you take notice. Have a reasonable schedule. You can't post today and then you disappear for 1 month and come back. You have to have a schedule. If you post every Thursday or just find out what works for you and make sure that you're consistent. And then create a call for action. Sometimes, unless you're Coca-Cola or, Pepsi or one of those big guys, when you put something on social media, ask yourself, what do I want at the end of the day, and create that call for action. Now, the next slide here is talking about, let's see, smart PR. Oh, sorry, I just went. How do I go? Yes, there it is, smart PR. Now, when you're marketing your business or whatever you want to market, public relations is so important. I know those days advertising used to really sell, but in today's world, people don't want to watch ads. They just want you to relate to them. People want to connect with the brand. So in putting together your PR, you have to make sure that you have a great media kit, especially if you want to market to TV stations, radio stations, bloggers. If you want, sort of conventional media to take notice, you have to have a very powerful, great, media kit. You have to make sure that you create a promo video, and the videos do not have to be expensive. Today, those days, for instance, if you wanted to post something on Facebook or Instagram, you could just type in some text. But have you noticed that these days, if you just type text, I remember I used to, post quotes, just quotes on Facebook. But now, how many posts do you see that, do not come with pictures or some sort of video or photography? That's because the world has become, people are so bombarded that they don't have time to just be reading, dry text. They want to see something. And sometimes what gets them is the image or the video, and then they kind of, watch through to see what the message is. Get a photo shoot done. I kind of emphasize how important a photo shoot is. Like, I have a friend who just started, her real estate business, but she doesn't have photos. And I said, that's number one. You have to start with a great photo. Photo speaks 1,000 words, like what Nadine was saying earlier. You want to be able to have a photo that, speaks the language that you want to communicate to your clients. You want to show yourself as a strong Black woman, or a strong businesswoman, or a relatable person, or a serious-minded person. Your photo should say that. And then pitch to the media. Remember that when you're putting together your media kit or your branding or your promo material, what is this thing? You make sure that your pitch is strong. I won't go into what should be your pitch, because that's a whole different thing, but just make sure that you're pitching to the media, pitching to bloggers, pitch to influencers, and pitch to stakeholders. And when I say stakeholders are like your critical mass, the people that already believe in you. Make them really, really believe in you, because those are the people that will kind of be out there advocating for your business. Now, the next one here is showcase. Showcase. Now, find every opportunity to showcase your business. Events, even when you're just having like a social sort of event or gathering with family members, let your brand be like, wear it on your sleeve. Let people see it. Let people hear about it. For instance, a few years ago, we went to buy a car. We're not sure which car we're going to buy. And the salesman was like, you should buy a Cadillac. So he was trying to sell us a Cadillac and all that kind of stuff. And we actually had our magazine with us. So we gave him a magazine as well. And he said, oh, this magazine is Cadillac quality. The quality is like Cadillac. So we picked on that. I'm like, oh, if this magazine is Cadillac quality, how about Cadillac on the back of the magazine? And he was like, oh, actually, the head of Cadillac is, is a friend. And bam, guess what? Before we knew it, we're meeting with Cadillac, the head of marketing for Cadillac. And we had Cadillac on the back of our magazine for about 5 years. And we ended up, dealing with General Motors, they actually gave our company 2 cars, and sponsored, a few of our stuff for a few years, just because we went to buy a car and decided to bring our own brand with us. We told the salesman about our company, and before we knew it, bam, we got business. So wear your brand on your sleeves. Take it with you wherever you go. You're swimming, you're going to the gym, or at a restaurant. Just sell it to everyone that cares to listen. Then allow for experiential marketing. So experiential marketing is very important, and some people kind of think it's expensive, but it's the best form of marketing. Let people experience your brand. If your service is the kind that you can, send samples. If you can send samples are great. Or at events, let people try your product. Let people experience your product. Create brand excitement. Come up with exciting things about your brand. The reason we love Apple computers is because Steve Jobs made it exciting. Look at the logo, even the way he was selling. Have you seen the Apple ads? I remember the first Apple ad that came out in 1984. it was like, what is this? You take notice. They had, like grenades in there. They had somebody running, and then things explode. It just wasn't talking about a computer. Before you knew it, you're like, I love this brand already. And then network. Networking is so important. I can't emphasize how important that is. Just going, to events or conferences that have to do with the field that you're in, um, you know, talking with people, just networking. That's another way to market your brand. Now, referral network. This is something that I have become very conversant with in recent times, because our company, we also do one arm of our company does marketing. So we help companies to do social media marketing. One of our clients is an airline company, and we have a few real estate companies. And one of the things that our marketing department suggested to one of the realtors is to form a referral network, and that has really worked so well. And see, having a referral network is having loyal fans who are not just loyal to you, but they have a stake, some sort of a stake in your business. So they're getting something for referring clients to you. So in building a referral network, make sure that you build loyal clients, provide incentives. So you can't just have a referral network without promising them something. You can say maybe you're going to promise them a free service or some sort of a commission. So if you bring me this client, I'll give you 10% or 5% or something. So there have to be like clear terms. Equip your network. So make sure that if somebody is actually part of your referral network, they know your product like in and out. They can, speak about it the way you would speak about it. So you have to, what we say, when I'm joking, I say you have to cook them. So you have to cook them so that they kind of like blend, everything blends together. They know your brand and like part of you, and they can speak about it and create a community. So once you've created a community of loyal clients who are proud of your product enough to want to refer people, then you know that you've actually, succeeded in marketing to them. The next thing here is use of SEO. This is a very technical thing that has to do with your website. Just make sure that you choose a good domain name. Sometimes people's domain names are very discouraging. If your domain name is not, clear, short, simple, and easy to remember, it's just not the best. Use precise keywords and use what we call mega tags. Mega tags are like, it's a technical thing that will help people to find your website and then evaluate your analytics. Websites do have analytics. You can ask your web guy, your web person, man or woman, to pull out your analytics. It will help you to know who is visiting my website, what else do they like, what did these people type in Google to find my website. You can get all that information. For instance, many years ago, we noticed that people were typing certain keywords when they were looking for our website, and we decided to start offering that service just for the fact that people were looking for us while looking for that. Now, create relevant content for your website, of course. That way, when people are kind of trying to search your not just your company, but searching your field or your kind of area of business. Let's say you're selling, yogurt. If people are looking for yogurt, create relevant content so that they will find your website. All right. Next is engage. Now, there are many interesting ways to engage these days. Creating a mailing list is one. Respond to your social media comments. Believe it or not, some of those people on social media can end up becoming lifelong clients. We bought our home. We found a realtor, on social media, and then send seasonal newsletters. But don't bombard people. People will just kind of unsubscribe from your newsletters if you keep sending it like, too often. So just make sure that you're not sending too often and they're meaningful. Create exclusive giveaways. So, one way to engage your clients to create giveaways if your business is the kind that can do that. And stay in touch. Stay in touch with your client. Just, send them, gifts, or just call them to find out how they're doing and stuff like that. Then leverage influencers. This is something that has come to be. I mean, we have people love what they love. And some of these influencers that have a lot of following. But be careful about how you choose the influencer though. consider your target audience. For instance, if you're selling to serious-minded people a very high-end product, you don't want Honey Boo Boo to be your influencer because Honey Boo Boo's brand is different from what you're trying to sell. So you have to think of who is the influencer that can associate with my brand without hurting my brand identity. Then utilize testimonial videos, cross post and use tags. So sometimes you may just say to the influencer, can you just share this thing that I have on my page on your page? You don't have to, really come up to say just sharing is enough sometimes. And you can cross post some of the things that they post as well. Insist on exclusivity because and this is very important because sometimes when you're promoting your product and the person promoting your product is promoting a competing, a product that is a competitor, it just doesn't make sense. Like if you're Apple and you get an influencer who's also promoting the PC. I mean, these are two enemies, right? There was a time, I was doing an interview with a vice president from Pepsi, and it was at an event, and there was a Coca-Cola container on the table, and he's like, "Oh, we can't do this interview until the bottle is removed." I said, "But sir, the bottle, the Coca-Cola bottle is on the opposite side of the room." He said, "No, that bottle has to leave the room before I do this interview." I was shocked, but we had to, take the bottle out of the room before he even granted the interview, even though the bottle was on the other side. Like that's how loyal this man was. That's how the brand identity really meant so much. So exclusivity is important if you're going to be using an influencer. Let them not use somebody, promote somebody else who's kind of like a direct competitor. Innovate. Innovation is king. Like innovation is everything now because people are bombarded. People are busy. People imagine when social media started, we just had MySpace, then we had Facebook, now we have Instagram, then we have TikTok. People have too much. And then they have their families. So you have to make sure that you're innovative. Don't be afraid to try new things. Just be crazy if you have to be. But make sure that the craziness is speaking to your audience and be unique. Study the industry that you're in and stay relevant. Adapt to new technology. Now, evaluate and recalibrate. Most times we just keep marketing our stuff. We don't sit back to say what's working, what's not working, what are people reacting to, what do people love, what are people not loving about my marketing. So you have to get feedback as much as you can from your clients, from your customers, and also look at the analytics. If you're marketing on social media, look at the analytics. If you're doing Google AdWords, I love Google because it tells you. In fact, I have this Google. There's this. What's the name of that? There's this. You can actually try to Google. There's this sort of like an app that you can pay to download and add it to your YouTube page. It tells you who visited your YouTube page, how old they are, what they love, what else they're watching. Like it's such a great, tool. The name's not coming to me right now, but if it comes before this is over, I will share it. But just make use of whatever analytics you can to help you tailor your marketing so that you're getting more results. Ideally, your marketing, I just came up with some, statistics here, and that can help. Make sure that the overall response is at least 35%. If 35% of people are responding, it's great. Then your target audience, you want about 55% of people that are in your target audience to respond to your marketing, strategy. Your loyal fans, it should be about 28% because they're already loyal. So if they're responding, to your marketing, it should be at least 28%. And then brand expansion. Your brand should be expanding at about 65% after a good marketing strategy. Let's see what else we have here. Now, be purposeful in your marketing. A lot of times we just create, we create a marketing plan, we create content, we create all kinds of things to promote our brand, but we don't ask ourselves, what is the purpose? As I said at the beginning, you have to have a goal for your marketing. So there are times when you're just marketing your product because you have a new service or a new product, There are times when you just want to engage. So you're just marketing so that you can keep your customers excited and engaged in your product. There are times when you're marketing, because you want to grow your business, you want to sell more. So ask yourself, what is the purpose of the marketing? Be purposeful. And marketing is all about impression. Don't miss an opportunity to create a great impression. And you have to always innovate to engage. Now, I've shared all these marketing ideas, but how can you leverage traditional media, which is, one of the things that I do. I'm part of traditional media, right? Being that we run a 24-hour TV channel. Now, what we're always looking for as a media is that we're always looking for a story. Remember how earlier I said your brand has to have a story. A lot of the brands that we love, for instance, if you watch a Nike ad, have you noticed that they never tell you to buy shoes? Never. If you think I'm lying, just go to YouTube and find Nike ads. They never ask you to buy shoes. They love to kind of tell stories, or they just inspire you in a way that makes you to connect with them. It's almost like a lifestyle, most of the big brands that people love so much, it's a lifestyle. Like Apple is a lifestyle. If you see like right now, my daughter, my kids, everybody in my house owns an iPhone. I love my Samsung because I used to use a BlackBerry. I was one of those people that used a BlackBerry until they were out of business. So I now transitioned to Samsung. Everybody that owns an iPhone, it's almost like part of them. They if they see that you don't have an iPhone, they start to tell you, you have to get an iPhone. You have to get an iPhone. iPhone is better. They're so loyal, and that's because the people that make iPhone, they're purposeful in their marketing. They've actually been able to get their clients to understand exactly what they're trying to do. They're bought into it. They become so loyal that they even become referral partners for free. So to leverage traditional media, you have to have a story. We always love stories. So if you're selling something, like people send me a lot of books, but to be featured. But I'm always looking for a book that has a story that will captivate the audience. Like today, I got a pitch. This book was written by a young girl. She graduated from university and she got about 5 or 6 job offers from Fortune 500 companies. So she decided to write a book to help people kind of who are looking for jobs to tailor their pitch or resumes and everything to be able to capture this kinds of companies. So I thought, wow, this is amazing. This is great. She's using her own personal story. So if you're out there, let's say you have you just started an event marketing company. What is the story behind your event marketing company? What made you decide to go into event marketing or event planning? What is it that made you decide to start that? What is the story? Like a lady said, I decided to start, creating dolls because my kids had no dolls that looked like them, and I wanted their self-esteem to be restored. So I started, making black dolls. That is the story. So don't just say I'm selling dolls. My dolls are beautiful. We don't care. Your product is great, fine, but we just want to have a story, connected to it. So make sure that you have a story and make it part of your marketing, your marketing kit when you send it out to the media. The other thing is have ready content. So if you want to be featured in a magazine or on TV, do you have B-roll? B-roll is like, do you have pictures of your products, or do you have videos that we can throw in when we're featuring you? So you have to have content. And lastly, you have to be a good communicator. Communication is very important. I know for some of us as entrepreneurs, we don't really want to bother ourselves with all that kind of stuff, right? We just want to sell our products or our service. But as an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to communicate, or at least if you're not a good communicator, learn how to communicate what your business is about. And once we know that you're a good communicator, we don't mind having you over for a feature and all that kind of stuff. So these are the ideas that I have for now. I would like to take some quick questions. I don't know if I've gone over my time, but if there's some questions, I would like to kind of take them now.
Yes, thank you so much, Patricia. We do have a few minutes to take one or two questions. We have a second speaker here already, so that's awesome. But I can see a few hands. I see a hand raised. But before we get to that, I had a question come in that asked, what does a media kit look like?
A media kit. Okay, I can't pull up one right now. So our company, we also do, media kits for people because we have a graphic design arm of our business. So a media kit should contain your logo. Earlier I was talking about branding. I didn't want to go into branding because it's so broad, but it should have your logo. It should have your statement, your mission statement. I mean, your tagline, little statement that describes your business, your mission, your vision. It should have some, nice pictures of what, your product is, or something that represents a service. If it's a service you're offering, your brand promise, what is it that you're promising to your clients, and the story of your brand, a little bit about, why you started it, who you're doing it for, and why. So it's maybe like a 2 to, could be 10 pages. Some people have it even more than 10 pages, but I'll say ideally should be around 2 to about 6 pages, that tells people about your brand. So you have your logo, all the little things I want people to know about your brand in like a jiffy. Nadine showed us a little bit earlier of some things she was trying to share there. Yeah. So yeah, Nadine, if you can, just share that would be great. So this is a marketing kit, that Nadine is sharing.
I was just saying, I hope you don't mind, Patricia, but I thought I'd show them this. So This is one of the chefs that actually works with Patricia's studio as well. And this is his media kit. So as she says, his vision, mission, what he's about, what he's accomplished, how he's been featured in different news mediums and so forth. And then what I like to add to the kit also is just media hooks. I think this and Patricia, your presentation was just dynamic, absolutely well-informed, a lot of great gems in there. But one of the things we like to do, if we're pitching Patricia's studio, for example, we like to pitch ideas in terms of what the chef can speak about, because then she already knows where he's leaning in terms of the expert in his field. And again, as you can see, we believe, and then there's his signature dishes. We talk about how he's engaged online, so she can see all of that. And then testimonials. You talked about testimonials and the contact info, because again, you want to make it very easy for a studio like Patricia's to pick up your story and so forth. So
great. That's a media kit, and a media kit really helps because once you have a media kit, it makes us know that you're serious and you know exactly what you're doing, and you have collateral that can help us to tell your story. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was very, very clarifying. We have Alethea. Please unmute yourself and ask.
Thank you.
Have a few minutes, so if we can get through this.
Thank you, Patricia. There's so many things you can do for marketing. Are there things that you could recommend for a product-based company versus a service-based company?
Yeah, what do you do? What kind of product do you have?
I don't have a product. So I was just wondering, like, are there any recommendations from everything that you presented that would be better, that would be more suited to a service-based company? Like, let's say you're an accountant or like a consultant, that would be more suited for your business versus something that would be more suitable for a product-based business where you have a physical item?
Yes, I mentioned a few earlier. One of them is actually referrals, having a referral network, people that have used your service and can tell others about your service. The other thing is, posting testimonials. Like one of the realtors, real estate is a service you're offering that we kind of assist with social media. He actually has a referral network, and he's actually gotten each and every one of the people in his referral network. He has about 30, I think 31, to record videos. And these videos he's posted on social media. They're saying, how his service was so great, how they're referring other people now. So you could, create testimonial videos from your loyal clients. And the other thing is, you can also, do contests, offer, you can just say, what, I'm going to be offering some sort of free information session or something
Yeah.
for people. And when they come on, you can then share, ideas on how you can help them with your service. So
Yeah.
there's so many things you can do actually that will not cost you any money,
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
We'll take the last question before we go to our next speaker for today. And this is from Giselle. Please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, BBPA. Thank you, Patricia, for taking my question. Okay, so I am not at the point just yet where I have a media kit. I am, however, on Clubhouse 6 days a week. I'm hosting a show on Clubhouse. It's called the Dear Clutter Club. I was not the tidy one. That was my mom when I was growing up. I was the one who was surrounded by clutter. She would close my door just to keep it contained. And so my clutter journey has transpired over my lifetime. And with that, developed an extensive level of empathy for those who walk through this process. And so that's a part of what I teach people how to do. I don't want to do it for them. I want them to develop the skills so that they can take that skill throughout their life. And so that's essentially what the show is all about. It's called Dear Clutter. Everyone has a clutter story. And so we normalize the discussion around clutter on the show. So while I'm growing on Clubhouse, when I started, my Instagram was like 120 some odd people. We're now almost at 1,000 followers on Instagram since February. 2,000, just over 2,000 followers on Clubhouse since then as well, and to 1,000 people in the club, in the Dear Clutter Club. So we've been making some really good headway. And so I'm just wondering, do I just keep doing what I'm doing? Do I keep partnering with other individuals who are in the industry, having them tell their story until I can kind of set aside some time and focus for the brand kit?
So I have a question. Are you currently monetizing what you're doing, or you're just doing it as a passion for free, just helping people? Are you monetizing it at the moment?
Definitely monetizing. So there is a call to action for people to connect with me directly for one-on-one coaching. We are also right now working on developing a webinar with, again, another call to action. We're also looking at taking the show off of Clubhouse and bringing it over to a platform like Patreon. So there'll be a membership opportunity for those who missed the 3 p.m. show to be able to catch it later on in the day whenever they have availability time. Well,
that's great. That's really awesome. Congratulations for all that. And I love the idea of helping people, with decluttering, because I mean that's a big problem, especially in today's world where it's so busy. But you asked a question about your media kit, if you should do it right now. Is that a question?
Yeah, if I should really focus on the media kit right now, or if I should just continue to focus on establishing myself on social media and Clubhouse.
I think that you should do both. Just keep doing what you're doing on social media, but your media kit is very important. And I mean, if you were to pitch me an idea of having an interview with you on one of our shows, what you're doing is so interesting. I would love to, because a lot of people have this problem and it will resonate with a lot of people. So I would say, make time to do the media kit. I know we always put off marketing, we always put off, doing all those things. But you see, marketing is like the foundation. And every day you're doing your business without proper marketing is every day you're sending the wrong message about your brand. Because everything should actually start from branding. So branding should be like the first step of, of you establishing yourself. And then after that, you've actually established your branding, your branding kit, your brand identity, your brand promise, and all those things. Then you then go to market and say to your customers, hey, here's who I am. So your branding sort of media kits and all those things to help you communicate, not just with your clients, but to help you to market yourself to the people that can help you reach more clients. So I would say it should be the first thing you think of when you have an idea, a business idea. It should be part of your business plan, your marketing strategy. Like whenever I do a business plan for a new business, I add my marketing strategy in my business plan because it helps me to already know who my, potential customers are, how I'm going to reach them, where they live, what they like. And in putting even, my products together, I already have that in my mind. I'm already thinking of what do they like, where do they live, how can I reach them? So I'll say immediately create a media kit, not just a media kit. If you can create a video, media kit, like you saw at the beginning of this session, I had a video. The reason I created that video was because most times when I go to events and they're reading my bio, they mispronounce my name. They're sometimes forget things or they don't read it properly. And I told you know what, I just create a video to make it easy for people. They just play my video. Here's what I want people to know about Patricia. I have so many other achievements, but these are the ones that, I think people should know based on how I'm marketing myself. So I say do that right away.
Thank you so much, Patricia. This has been very, very wholesome. I feel like it was like a 3-course meal compressed into 1 course. So thank you so much for sharing all of your expertise, all of your experience as well. We still have a couple of questions in here, but we're kind of pressed for time. So thank you so much, Patricia. We're hoping that we can get you another time, and then any other, hopefully we can get the presentation that you shared and also a media kit, the media kit example, so we can share with our participants. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Patricia. Excellent
My
presentation.
pleasure.
We'd love to have you back.
Thank you, Nadine.
Definitely. Okay, and our next presenter today is Brendan Boyd. After working for 10 plus years as a creative entrepreneur in the fashion industry and 7 plus years as a real estate agent and advisor, he now places his intention on helping people build their self-confidence while building their business as well. As an accountability coach, Brendan not only coaches his clients on how to become more accountable, productive, and maximize their days, but he also expands their mindset to truly believe anything is possible. He is an accountability coach, real estate, and marketing expert. So please welcome Brendan to the Boss Women stage.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for having me. Okay, so what I would like to do first is, I think I'm better at the Q&A. I think when it's time for me to teach and coach people, like the Q&A is way more valuable. So there's a couple of things that I wrote down that I obviously want to share about marketing for sure. But I want to open it up a little earlier for Q&A because I know you guys probably have some valuable questions that you want to ask, and I want to give you as much value as possible. And then I'll also leave my contact information because there's some things that we can't taking advantage of in our condensed time. We can talk about a little bit offline. So couple of notes that I just want to kind of go over that Patricia mentioned. I just kind of want to reiterate the 3 things that stuck out to me the most, was she talked about elevate and recalibrate. I think that is very, very important. So as you're developing your brand and developing your marketing, it's very, very important to do that. Elevate that and then recalibrate that. Have those weekly, those monthly, those quarterly check-ins so you can evolve what you're doing, so you can quantify that. Another thing that she said I thought was really, really impactful was marketing with a purpose. Just think about if you're in the car, we're going somewhere. If we don't have a destination, we're never going to get there. We're just going to be driving. So if it's a daily goal or a weekly goal, know exactly what's the reason why you're marketing. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get views? Do you want to get sales? Are you just testing certain things to get a reaction? Have an idea of what you actually want. It's important to post every day and post consistently, but don't just post to post. Have like a purpose to why you're posting. Something else she said that was very, very important too is you have to have a story. So what's your story for your business? Or what's your story for your product or your service? Or what's the story you're trying to convey on this particular day or even this week? So those three things that she mentioned, I just kind of wanted to reiterate those. I thought those are really, really important. Jay Sale, I believe she had mentioned, she's a clutter coach. So I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that she said. Because as a coach, and this kind of goes into one of the things I was going to mention, most people think about like, all right, I'm in this particular business, right? I'm a chef, or I'm a realtor, or a lender, or whatever case may be. But you're truly a marketer first. Like, what you do is not really what you do. What you do is, that's easy for you. Like, that's the thing that you're making money at, or that's the thing that, you're able to, convey your messages or connect to your audience. But that's not really what you do. You got to shift your thinking to becoming a marketer, especially in today's, today's marketplace. You're honestly a marketer and a media company. Like, those are the two things that you need to kind of bring into one. So through marketing, if you kind of break marketing down, marketing is basically the way that you communicate your messages to your audience, so to your potential clients. That's really, really what it is. And there's an array of different ways to kind of do that. And obviously the best way to do that is positioning yourself. And right now you want to position yourself digitally the best way possible. And we'll talk a little bit later about being omnipresent digitally, to be as many places as once, so you can kind of captivate and capture your audience. But I think once you start shifting the way that you think, and you really kind of get your mind wrapped around the fact that, yes, I do bake the best cookies and I do have the best pies in town, and people do come, to do my thing, or get this product or get this service, you really need to start understanding the science behind the marketing, right? Because yes, people may want your pies, or they may want your service, or they may want your cookies, but they're really going to buy into more of your story. That's why they're coming to you. So if you're able to communicate that on a high level, and communicate that in a way that connects to them, you're going to have a customer that's loyal forever, So that's really, really the most important thing. Like, just working to shift the mindset around the fact that you're not like what you do, you truly are a marketer. And then you need to like also be a media company, like your form of a media company. Like Jessel mentioned, like Clubhouse. Like, so she's using Clubhouse as a platform to, communicate the messages, about decluttering to her audience. But then also she's also able to connect and make sales on that, because she created, she's using that platform. So those are really the things, those are really the two important messages that, I'll share a bunch of other things, but like, I want you guys to really think about that. Like, look at wherever you are in your business, and on your entrepreneurship journey, or whatever the case may be, you're truly a marketer. And then you need to start like operating as a media company. Those two things are going to work together. So let me just kind of go over a couple of the points that I have, and then I want to open it up for questions ASAP, because I think that's the most valuable thing here. Okay, so once you start to change your mindset around your approach of marketing, you can really start cutting through to your audience. I think one of the struggles of business is obviously sales. Everyone, you want more sales, you want more sales. So the thing is this: if you have a way that you're communicating to your audience, right? At least you think you have a way that you're communicating to your audience, but it's not converting. It could be because there's like a block, like just imagine you trying to park your car in the driveway, but the gate, you can't get the gate open. Like your car can't get in there, and you're wondering why I can't get my car into the driveway, because you can't get the gate open. It's really like the same thing with the messages. So like, you want to make sure that you understand and you communicate to your audience in a native way, so that they understand how to obtain your product and obtain your service. So for instance, Instagram obviously one of the most popular social media platforms right now. But are you only operating on Instagram? And are you not operating on TikTok? Are you not operating on Clubhouse? Are you not on YouTube? Are you not using Twitter anymore? Are you not using LinkedIn? Are you not using YouTube, or now even YouTube Shorts? Those are all, that's like a myriad of like different platforms that you can get one single message. Like for instance, if I post up, a reel on Instagram, that's one place I'm sending one message, and not only can you take that message and put it on Instagram, but you can literally just take the same post and put it on TikTok and put it on LinkedIn and put it on YouTube Shorts and put it on Facebook and tweet it out. And that's like 6 places that you sent the same message. So now you're hitting all these different audiences because everyone is not on Instagram, and then Instagram right now is throttling your reach. So you're not even getting all of your followers, right? So another thing that you also have to recognize, most people just throw a post out and they don't post it again. They just put a post out on Monday and then that's it. Like I need a whole nother post. But if you think about traditional marketing, we watch television, even watch YouTube. How many times are you seeing commercials over and over? Like one of my favorite all-time commercials is probably from Lexus. And I know a lot of you guys probably seen like their theme commercials. Every holiday, they do this, the December to Remember. It's like mom, dad, they got a kid. The door's open, it's snowing. There's a car outside, there's a bow on it, right? But they run that the whole holiday season over and over and over and over and over. You can do the same thing with your content, right? But going back to, the reference I mentioned with the driveway in your car, if you're not optimized, if you don't have a call to action, if you don't have the link in the bio, if you don't have like maybe a link tree set up, or if you do click the link, if the link doesn't take them to somewhere that can actually convert into a sale, you're gonna lose that sale. So it's very important to not only, connect with your audience natively, create the content that cuts through, put the content on multiple different platforms. But once you do that, you want to make sure that you're still now able to convert. You want that client to convert. Another thing I would mention is if you're not converting, do polls. Do some polls, especially if you're using Instagram. Throw out a story. I'll give you an example. My coaching journey literally started next month will be 1 year, me as an accountability coach. But it literally started from a story. I'll put a story up like July 7th. And my story was like, I'm gonna have the most impactful and productive July. If anyone else is feeling like me, respond to this poll. 35 people responded to the poll. And of that 35 people, I got 15 people over the course of 3 months that got into my beta program for my first coaching program, right? So the power of Instagram, or the power of stories, or just the power of polls in general, like you can create, I think I heard someone earlier say they don't have a product yet. That's something else I can definitely talk about. But you can create a product or service before it exists by listening to the market. Like, what is the market telling you? The market is going to dictate what sells. That's why sometimes it's almost a waste of time for you to develop something that you think is going to cut through by spending a whole week, a month, or whatever, 6 months on a product, and then bring it to market and then wonder why it's not selling. You could be spending that same amount of time doing research, connecting to your market and hearing what's missing, what do they want, and then create that product exactly from what they're telling you, and then run your pre-sales. And then that way, not only do they tell you what they want, but you pre-sold it to them. So now all you got to do is deliver it. So it's very, very important to do your polls. You want to do polls. And also a poll can just be like a questionnaire. You can run a questionnaire through emails. You can run questionnaires through a text campaign. And that kind of brings me to one of the other things I wanted to talk about is you want to build your audience and build your community, right? So so one of the first things that I offer as an accountability coach is really around productivity and mindset. A lot of people want to be, they want to start a business, or they want to, just be more productive, but the habits, it's the daily habits that they, that's preventing them from cutting through. But once they go through the program, and if they're an entrepreneur, they're generally like, okay, what's next, right? So then the second thing I really offer is just around that business building, right? So really building your business up and setting your business up for success. So there's a lot of clients that I speak to that don't have an audience, or they're not really focus on growing the audience, you know? So when I say growing the audience, I mean, if you have a product, like I have a client right now, and he kind of helps people with really optimizing their social media bios, right? Because if your bio's not right and your pitch is not right, people are gonna go to your page, they're gonna get confused, they're not gonna convert because they don't know what to do. And he focuses on that. So that's one of the products that he sells. So one of the hurdles that we were having before we launched this product is who is he marketing it to, right? So he's been in business over a couple years in entertainment. You know, he hosts parties and hosts events. So he has a whole bunch of these emails, right? But he wasn't like putting them in. He wasn't putting them in like a MailChimp. He wasn't putting them in like an email responder. He was just kind of sitting on them. Same thing with text messages. He has a lot of friends, has a lot of clients, but he wasn't like putting them together, right? So it's really quantifiable, right? When you really look at it. If you have 1,000 emails, you have 1,000 people on text, that's your audience. You have to really look at, okay, when I'm doing networking, I need to really network with a purpose. And every person you network with, build, connect, throw them in your email list, you know, throw them in your text message list. And something that Patricia said earlier too, that I thought was very valuable. She talked about when you send out these messages, you know, you don't want to bombard people. So I kind of agree with her, but then there's something that I don't agree. I feel like as long as you're giving value and you give the right value, people are going to receive the messages, right? So you don't always want to just sell them. You want to give value. So Jaysil, Declutter Coach, I keep using her because she was the last person to ask the question. So like for her, every week she could be sending out an email that talks about, hey, these are the top, you know, ways to declutter, or these are things, you know, this is the type of, you know, way you can do this thing. This is the type of way you can do this other thing. You know, these are some client testimonials. Just give value. And then also she can sneak a product in there, either in the same email or the next email. So there's a lot of emails. I mean, there's a lot of like digital mentors and entrepreneurs that I'm subscribed to, that I stay subscribed to, because they give value before they give, before they do the ask. You know, there's a free video, there's some value, there's some content or something. And then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to buy this program because it makes sense, because they put it in front of my face. But if you're only sending emails out casually, or you're not sending emails out at all, if you're not sending text messages out, no, you're not warming up your audience. And then when you do have your thing that you want to launch, it's not out of nowhere. They're like, okay, yeah, Brendan has been sending me emails for the past 6 weeks. Oh, he's pre-selling whatever he's doing. Like for instance, one of my last product was these. These are manifestation cards. So, and that's another thing I'm talking about. This, so I can tell you about, this was really one of the things that I offer in another product, but I just put them in a whole nother product. Like, so that's really like horizontally diversification. That's what I like to call it. So you're basically just taking the idea and just put it into different forms, so you can just resell it and repackage it. But these cards was something that I pre-sold. I pre-sell all my products, and I'm able to pre-sell my products because of my email list and because of my text message list. So they're getting all this value. And then when I have something that I want to sell, I put it through the same channels, you know? I put it through the same channels. And then that's really how you sell X amount. So it's really like a lot of different things you need to be working. Obviously, you know, it can get overwhelming, but you really just kind of tackle one thing at a time. I think one of the best things for you to do, if you don't have a product or service right now, is have a lead magnet. You know, have something for free that you can give away. And the easiest thing you can give away, like for instance, I'm a realtor as well. So one of the things I gave away for free is like, you know, these are the steps to buy a house. And I literally, you know, made a quick little PDF, very detailed. These are all the steps that you need to know. Click the link in my bio. They get the free download. Now I get the email. That email goes to the email list. And then that's how I'm able to grow the list. So If you don't have a product and you don't have a service, give something of value away and then pump that free item. Say, hey, if you're on Clubhouse, hey guys, this, by the way, I got a free, thing, check it out. Go to my Instagram page and download it. If you're on live, the same thing. If you're casually talking in the conversation, the same thing. Really, really develop your community, because if you can develop that, you multiply, like these are $40, right? So you multiply 40 times 100 people, or 40 times 20 people, or 15 people. That's going to give you, that's really what's going to give you, your goal right there. Like whatever your financial goal is for that particular product or that particular service. It's always harder to go one by one when you're launching something new. It's very easy to come up with something already be giving value, already be like, that expert, and send that right through your channels. That's why growing your channels are really, really important. And I think having a lead magnet is the best way to do that. So before I open up for questions, because I really want to get into that, is the idea of being omnipresent. And being omnipresent is literally you being on all of the social media platforms, like being on all of the channels. So TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Figure out, how to be on, one or two that you can master. And then when you get your flow, start diversifying your content range. Like when you do stories, super easy for you to put those stories on multiple platforms. If you're doing more long form, so you can't put, there's going to be certain areas where you can't put something long form, or your long form is going to be better on a platform like YouTube or something like that. But you can always clip out those little sections from your long form that's going to give your content more life, and then redistribute that on the other platforms, and then you can repost the same content on other platforms. So really, really understanding that you're a marketer and like having that mindset. Understand that you're a media company, and it's very important for you to start. If you don't have audio and video equipment, you should really, really start investing in that. Very least use your phone, get a microphone, something like that, so the audio is really crisp, and start using that. Stop playing around with it in the house if you don't feel very confident yet to just start talking in front of the camera and putting out content. Practice is very, very, very important, because as we move further and further in the future, it's going to be more vital that you communicate and market through these mediums. And if you're not doing it right now, you'll feel a little bit more anxious when it's more of a requirement, because at this point you could have already started creating some momentum, but now you're starting from kind of zero, since you didn't start like right now, or you didn't start before. So that's very, very, very important. So I really want to get into some questions, especially if you guys got businesses or you don't even have a product yet, or whatever the case may be. I think that's really, I can give the most value with the Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, definitely come off mute or raise your hand. Hopefully I can see all of them. I can only see some of them. And then we can kind of go from there.
Thank you so much, Brandon. We do have a few questions that have come in the chat, and we have a few hands raised too. This question says, I just launched an online store and haven't gotten any sale, even though I've been promoting on Instagram and Facebook and have an offer for 10% off for the first order. Today, I started using Google as a sales channel as well. Any suggestions on how I can become more marketable and ultimately get sales?
Well, the first thing I would ask is what product or service do you currently have?
Hi, so I'm selling Jamaican themed apparel and accessories. So I have t-shirts and caps and mugs and keychains, and I'm also doing a greeting card service where you can go on and select your greeting card, and I'll write the note and send it to your recipient wherever they are in the world.
Okay, so how are you currently marketing?
I'm using Instagram and Facebook promotions, and I just signed up to use Google through my Shopify store. But yeah, that's about it. I was thinking about using influencers, but based on the research I've done, I feel like influencers, they represent so many other brands. I don't want to get lost in all the brands that they're representing. So I thought of doing affiliate marketing instead. So I'm currently working on that for my store.
So I know those are the ways you're marketing, but how are you marketing? So if I go to your page right now, are you creating content around your individual products? Are you talking about your products? Okay, so what's the frequency of the way that you're posting?
I've been posting every day, or at least a minimum 5 or 6 days per week.
Okay, let me go to your Instagram right now so I can take a look at it. What's your Instagram?
Tings Jamaican, so TINGS Jamaican.
All right, let me take a look at it.
And it's a stylized TJ that looks, I've heard a lot, it looks like TD.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you have a lot of like infographics on here, right? Which is great. So I don't see any of you on here. So what I mean is I go to your page, I see, your bio, timeless and classic meets fun, themed apparel and accessories, Jamaican themed apparel and accessories, shit's from Toronto. So one of the first things I noticed is you don't really have a call to action. So there's nothing that's telling me to click the link in my bio for the thing, for the ting, There's nothing in it telling me to do that. So now if I'm a casual client, customer, whatever, or I just stumble on your page, I'm not really sure what to do. So I see some tees, I see some mugs, I see some keychains, I see the tote bag. But what would be very valuable here is if, as you create your content, you show how to use these products, like how you using the coffee mug with, is you pouring tea in it, water in it, coffee in it? Is it good for the morning time, good for the evening? Does a cup just show up and go away? Like, figure out different ways that you can create content around the daily use of all of these products, and if you have multiple products, you can probably come up with 5 to 10 different ideas, and do that consistently instead of necessarily getting an influencer. You become the influencer. You become the face of your brand. You become synonymous with Tings Jamaican. Like, let people know who you are. How did you even develop the brand? What's the story behind Tings Jamaican? These are all different ways that you can create content. Another thing I would say is if you don't have a TikTok page for Tings Jamaican, I would create that immediately, because TikTok is a way that you're going to be able to grow your brand faster than on Instagram, because on TikTok, it's a little bit more favorable for you to grow. Instagram right now, you have to pay to play now, more so on Instagram than when it used to be. So Instagram is really good for the presence, and then TikTok's really good to grow. So if you're not really sure how you want to make content, I would just kind of do a little bit of research on different ways you can create content. But I think the best way is to show me how I can use that keychain. Show me how the best I can put that mug in different real lifestyle situations. The Jamaican t-shirt, you have it kind of broken down with the definition. Do funny skits, with the accent, and really make it fun. Put that bring that t-shirt to life, things like that. So those are, obviously we can kind of talk very long about different ways, but that's the first thing that I noticed. The call to action is very, very important. Maybe say something funny, like click here for the ting or something, put the little emoji hand going down to let people know to click that link in the bio, and then it's going to take them to the page. And then you say you make the custom cards. I would make a list of all the realtors, all the lenders, all the attorneys in the area. Those cards should be directed at them, because they're going to have clients every time they make a close. So they're going to need to do a closing gift. You can do a whole subscription service with that audience. So that's something I would definitely do too. And again, awesome. I'll leave my contact information below. If you have any other questions, we can definitely talk about it.
Thank you so much. And just to say, if anybody has any ideas or anyone I can work with, I'm so not a social media person. I don't have social media pages, and I'm actually paying somebody to do this because I know nothing. So please feel free to let me know if anybody can suggest anyone I can use to.
So that's something kind of like what I said before.
My page.
Well, what I said earlier when I opened up, like, evolve your mindset around like loving it, because like you are not the creator of Tings, you are a marketer. Tings is just your medium of what you're using to connect to your audience. Like, so you're a marketer first and you're using social media as your media company. It's literally your media platform, how to communicate your messages. So like, even if you're hiring somebody, like have them teach you what they know that you don't know, so then you can start doing it, because you don't always want to rely on, unless you don't want to do it at all, but you should still understand how it works. So then like you can kind of do it on your own as well.
Thanks a lot, Brendan.
You're welcome.
Awesome. We have another question here in the text before I go to the raised hands. If you are in the early startup stages of your business, how do you create your brand without funds and the uncertainty of what your business will evolve into?
Okay, so that one we kind of touched on that earlier too. Do polls, right? Ask your audience. Even with even developing as an accountability coach, like I put it out there first. I didn't have a course, but 15 people were willing to pay me. I have 48 hours to develop something, right? So if you ask the market, if you ask the market, what do they want? What is something that would make your life easier? What's a product or a service that you would use every day that you don't kind of see in the market? What is something that is commonplace that maybe exists, but it doesn't do something well enough that if there was something else, they would buy this versus that, right? So if you ask your audience, ask the market, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, ask them over, I don't know what the size of this person's audience is, or maybe even join like little groups, social media groups on Facebook or whatever. Ask these people, what is something that they want? Or even if there could be a product or service that you kind of think that you want to launch, but you're not really sure. Throw that out there, see what their response is. Because people will tell you what they want. And once you get that information, you can create that product specifically to the specifications of what they want, and you can monetize that. So once you do that, you then like, okay, I collected all this data over a week. 20 people are telling me A, B, C. Okay, cool. So now you decide to make that thing. But before you even start making that thing, you can pre-sell it, right? So let's say you did a week for research or a couple of days, depending on your size of the audience, how many responses that you need. The next week, pre-sell. Hey guys, I heard you, I listened to you. You told me what you wanted. So I created the thing. You guys said you needed something to hold water. I created this glass. It's amazing, isn't it? Now I'm taking pre-sales for the glass. Click the link in the bio. It's going to be shipping on X date. You didn't even make the glass yet. Maybe you didn't do all the research where you can even get the glass made. But you put the shipping date out far enough that now you can do all of that research. And they paid you, so that money that you can collect, you can use that to produce the thing. And now that you have the pre-sales and the market told you what they want, now you can deliver it. There's no guessing. They literally told you what they wanted. You pre-sold them on it, and then you're ready to ship. It's ready to go as soon as that day comes. You can ship it out, and they're gonna give you testimonials.
Yeah,
so that's how we'll go over that.
Yeah, Uju, can I just add something quick to that?
Definitely.
Of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, great job, Brandon. I've learned a lot of things from you as well. I mean, if you're starting a new business and you don't have a lot of money for marketing, all these ideas that Brandon shared are really great. I would also love to advise you to get your critical mass on board. Your critical mass are your family members and your friends. Get them on board. Let them actually, share. Like, you can say, oh, let's say you're selling, like the lady selling a Jamaican thing. Get, a family member who is on social media to use the mug and post, and then to create some sort of, call to action where they can, lead people, like Brandon was saying, to get it. Sometimes people just want to be told, subscribe, buy.
Yeah.
So, I created my YouTube page, and I've been posting videos and no likes. And I thought, oh, I've not done anything to tell people to subscribe. As soon as I created a video to say subscribe, when people finish watching my video, I say subscribe to this page if you want to see more. Guess what? Right now, I think I have about over 2,000 subscribers within a very short time. It's not even up to like a month, because I created a call to action. But guess what? People have been enjoying my videos and doing nothing. And then get involved in the community. I look for people who people respect in the community. Send your product to them and ask if can you just share that, if you liked it on your social media page. That goes a long way. It goes a long way. And also collaborate with other businesses. You don't have money right now, so you can say, okay, Patricia, let's say you're the lady that does the cluttering business. Can I give you one of my sessions in return? Can you post on social media, or can you give me an interview on your show? I mean, you can just collaborate that way with other businesses, find out what they do, and see if we can exchange, services or products and that kind of stuff, and have them share it. See, people getting to know your product is very important, and people seeing your product. Like what Brandon said about the mug, you can't just be posting mugs. You have to post people holding the mug. The thing with marketing is that you have to put your strategy in such a way that people already see themselves in it. If you're marketing an outfit, let people imagine themselves in the outfit by seeing somebody else that looks good in it. So that's what I would love to add. Make sure your critical mass, your husband, your wife, your sister, your brother, your friends, they're passionate about the product. Sell it to them, pitch it to them, and let them help you to at least start, a conversation around it.
Thank you.
I
Very
100%
helpful.
agree with that.
Awesome. We'll just take one last question because we're like over time. And Bimpe has her hand raised. Please.
Yeah, did Rose have a question too, or did she have that emoji up the whole time? Because I feel like
she has the question we just answered.
Okay.
She
Yeah,
put it-
right. Both of you have answered my question.
All right, I
Thank
just
you
wanted to make
very,
sure,
very
because I
much.
seen that up. I'm like, I don't want to make sure that we didn't skip
You
you.
know, you know what? As you guys are talking, I've jotted down so many things, and I so appreciate both of you. You've given me a lot tonight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'm dropping my Instagram down here too. If you guys have anything, you can definitely follow up when we're talking about. Yeah, I would love another question.
Bimpe, please unmute yourself and ask.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much for all this amazing information, both Patricia and Brendan. I'm Bimpe, I'm a plastic surgeon, so I'm one of 4 Black plastic surgeons in Canada, females. And so during the pandemic, things got kind of quiet. I wasn't operating. And so my husband asked me one day, hey, do you have anything I can use for my shaving bumps? He's Black as well. And so I thought, oh, let's go to the local drugstore, look around and see, or go online and find you something. And we came up with not very much. So I kind of got to work, and we now have developed a brand called Blair and Jack, named for our twins, which is going to be a men's skincare line. And one of our, thank you, one of our main products focuses on shaving bumps in Black men, which I think is undertreated, and there aren't too many options for managing it. And so we've sent things out to friends and family and gotten some good feedback. So we're now struggling with how to really move to the next level. We're working with a cosmetic chemist to help us mix things in a way that makes it safe, marketable, has a good shelf life, is stable, and things of that sort. So a couple of questions I had for you. My team right now is all female. All we have so far is Instagram. And we put out, a lot of content. We post every other day, and we kind of want to keep that momentum building. I hadn't thought about doing polls and offering pre-sales. So that's very helpful in terms of an idea. I wonder if having an all-female team right now may be causing some blind spots for us, because we don't know that we're speaking to, on one hand, yes, women often do buy products for partners and whatnot, but should we sort of incorporate more men on the team, A, and then B, when it comes to building an email list, like I was saying before, our family, of course, and our friends are the ones who keep liking and giving us thumbs up, but we kind of want to go beyond that. So from this conversation, I know I'll work on, TikTok and Clubhouse and all those other forums.
Yeah.
But how does one actually build that out organically?
So the first thing I was definitely mentioning that one of the first things I should definitely say for you to consider is have a subscription service.
Yes, that's exactly what our model is. Yes.
Yeah. So definitely, you definitely want to make sure you have a subscription service. You want to have something coming to them every single day, especially with a skincare product, because it's going to run out. So you definitely want to get them started for that. It may be important for you to have maybe a guy that is the face, or maybe a couple that might be the face of the type of content that you create.
Okay.
You know, like, so there's one client I have, I helped him kind of create like, you know, like almost like a mascot. He has this guy that he calls Bob, and Bob just never does the thing, you know? And then he puts Bob in different situations, and he just never does the thing, right? Kind of like you know, Chris Paul with the insurance commercials, right? He just in different situations. So if you create like a guy that wakes up in the morning, you know, he does what he needs to do to get his face right, or you know, he's like, oh, I got this date, and it's like, okay, I gotta get my thing together, and then he opens up the cabinet, your product's right there. He pulls the product out the cabinet, he puts it on, he gets dressed, the doorbell rings, and then it's his date, and he walks out. Like, I'll put that product in so many different real life situations of how a man would utilize that.
Okay.
How your target client would utilize that. Either he doesn't have it and he finds it, or he has it and it's like, oh, I'm in this situation is good for the trips, it's good for vacation, it's good, you know, for this. Like, put it in so many different situations that are like real life, and then show how that product will benefit the client. You know,
will make it part of their routine.
Make their life easier. Yeah.
Okay.
You could do that with one person that's constantly in different real life situations, or you could put multiple people in real life situations. Because like, even with these cards, like, one of my ideas was to take these manifestation cards and put and make the client everyone, in a sense, right? Like, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different age groups, and just show people that you can use these cards in different environments. You know, it's not for this particular age group, you know, it's almost for everyone. So if you take your product and you show like the different shades of, like, you know, colored men or whatever, that's another way that someone can relate to it. That way, like, really, and kind of like we were talking about with things you're making, like, show the people the product. Okay. You know, like, really show it to them. Is it a cream? How does it open? You know, what's the branding look like? How's the packaging? Like, all those things really make a difference.
Okay.
You know, converting to get it convert. And then also, like, your community we talked about before. You know, like, I know you have a huge community probably from, you know, being a plastic surgeon, or your husband too. So, you know, maybe send messages out to them if you can. Hey, we got this product coming out. If you guys are interested, let me know. Then I could put you on, I can send you an invite to get on this email list or something. Because you don't want to spam them, but you just want to kind of inform them. And then the ones that say, yeah, I'm interested, you know, put them over here to start developing your email list and developing your text message list. And then every time, you know, maybe every week you take the same content, email it out. Because some people may miss that. Maybe people don't follow you on Instagram or TikTok. But you can recycle that every week, give value. And then I ask, oh, we got a subscription service for this. Value. Oh, by the way, this is good for the go. Click the link here to get yours. Value. And then another ask, you know?
I see. What do you think about someone, last question, I don't want to monopolize time. If someone says, hey, you know, I want to help you with marketing. So for the first 6 months, I want to take, you know, 5% of sales or whatever you sell. So that way there's an incentive for them to really push your product on all these different platforms. Is that a wise business move when one is first starting out?
I think having a sense of collaboration is great. I would really see, like, what has this person done?
Yeah.
You know, do they have a track record for success? Have they worked with another company and they delivered success? But I really think that for the first couple of months, you could really kind of do this on your own.
Okay.
You know, like, you really just got to build your audience. If you build your audience and you sending them these messages weekly and you giving them value, like, sales are going to convert.
Okay.
You know, it's really like, you just want to send it out consistently. So maybe you use like a MailChimp or some type of email responder. Maybe use like Community or some type of text message responder.
Okay.
have that going. Like I have a subscription-based service called the Winner Circle. It's like my low ticket coaching, and like all my messages are pre-recorded. Like I wrote them all out, and I programmed them in an app. And I just recently hired someone to just do the rest of the year, you know. But like for the first month, I wrote out all the messages, and I just put them in an app, and then the app sends them out every morning at 7 o'clock, and every evening at 6 p.m. You know, like the bet that I need, and you need to do the same thing for your product.
Okay, thank you very much. Really appreciate this.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And drop it in there because I'm gonna need some of that cream. You know.
Absolutely, on the house.
Awesome. We have one last question, and we would let everyone go. This one says, my brand and my story are so intertwined. However, I don't like putting myself on social media. Any advice on how to find a way to be comfortable with this?
Well, you have to just kind of get out of your mindset. One of my clients, I coached him like a week ago about, she's a realtor. She was almost in tears when we were talking about getting her in front of the camera. So there's no real way around it. You just have to do it. But like practice, you know, like grab your phone, do some stories, just talk to yourself. The thing about content is this: real life you can't erase. So like if you make a mistake with me in real life, I might forgive you, but I'm gonna remember that. My brain's gonna hold on to it. If you make a mistake on content, you could just delete it. Like no one even has to see it, no one has to post it. So like, you know, get like a little jobber or something, take it with you, or get an Osmo. I think, yeah, this is my Osmo right here. Get an Osmo if you want to have more stable content. But just practice in the mirror. Practice with affirmations. If you don't, just say some things to yourself. Just be in a house or be with someone that you trust, a best friend or something, business partner. Just practice. There's no real way around it. Like you can pay somebody to do it, but they're not gonna do it how you would do it. And it's really important for you to start doing it because the world's just gonna be more and more. It's just gonna get more like this. It's gonna be hyper content. So you just have to just start. But the repetition is gonna make you more comfortable, and don't worry about your first video, because when you get to the 50th video, like you'll be so much better. When you post content, people's attention span is 9 seconds. They're not even gonna remember anyway. And there's so much content out there. Like, as soon as you post, they forgot it. It's old. So you need to be posting the next thing.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing of your experience and also answering all the questions that we have. We've come to the end almost of today's session. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you so much, Patricia, for just staying even all the way till the end. I appreciate you. Thank you. I just want to quickly share that we have Ask a Professional that is happening tomorrow, and I'm just sharing my screen now so you can see it. It's a day in the life of Zero Team. So they are a software accounting firm, I believe. And so just come on. We have people, members of your staff, who are just going to share with you what it is like working with the team, so you have an idea. Come with all your questions. It's at 12 tomorrow. So I'll advise you to, book that in your calendar. And now I'm just going to quickly play our outro, and then we would say our good nights for today.
Your business has a value. Think about the challenges that we have and why your product or service is going to fill that. No matter how great the product is, it has to be marketed. Understand your business plan. The business plan is your roadmap. Success does leave clues, and if you pick up on those clues, you too can ascend in that same path. In the entrepreneur's journey, it's cyclical. We're going to have days where it's up and days where it's down. You will shine. We will shine.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much for being here.
Bye.
Krista, great job. Brendan, great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Great.
Bye, everyone, and thank you. Good to see you, Patricia.
Yeah, same here. I know a lot of people have questions. They can actually send message me on Instagram or Facebook. I'll be happy to help, you know.
I think we should have a session where we have, Patricia, you can come back, and Brendan, and just ask questions. I think, if people just bring their questions and we answer them one by one. Yeah, there's so many here we didn't get to, but do email Brendan and do email Patricia.
Yes.
I'll drop them down here too.
All right. All the best, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Till next week.